Now, everyone these days can build a voice agent, can build an AI receptionist, can build an AI sales agent. Now, but not everyone recognizes the importance of an AI dashboard, where after the call, the lead is then documented in a CRM, custom built for a business. This way, you're able to see the trajectory of your growth and see based on how many calls you're getting, how many bookings you're getting from those calls, just to see more growth and hence give you time to optimize for more profits. Now, without further ado, let's get into it. Okay, now that we're here, I built the dashboard on Airtable. As you can see here, what happens is every time we get a call, no matter what type of call it is, we get it documented here. So we've got 8 calls. Number of bookings made, which is 6. And we have the total calls with bookings. So how many of those bookings were from calls? Now, we can obviously see here that, and then over here, we see all the bookings made and so on and so forth. Over here, we see all the calls made and so on and so forth. So, and then down here, we'll be able to see what type of calls are we getting the most? Are we getting people who are scheduling calls, asking for information, or just generally canceling the appointment? Having this type of data is crucial in knowing when to do more optimization. Basically, it's crucial in helping you with your decision making, So, and then over here, we have some charts, as you can see here. Number of calls over time, it's gonna spike and spike and spike. Because I just built this and I added dummy data right now, it's just a string line up, And then, as you can see here, as time passes, this will update itself. So now then we have down here, we have a call log of all the calls, type of calls and everything. Now, these are the things that are interesting. We have a lead Kanban board. Now, say you have a human receptionist, right? Wait, while you have a human receptionist, obviously there's going to be 2 types of leads. Those that come through the AI receptionist, obviously, and those that come in the work through the door. Now, you can do it, you can follow through this in 2 ways. Number one, use true CRMs, which I highly do not advise you do. Or you build a new CRM that the AI and the human employee can use together. At that point now, they will be able to simply add a lead here, add the details. And then as well, the AI receptionist will also add the details itself. That way, both your AI receptionist and your human receptionist are working together in tandem. That is where we now see how a lot of fears about AI losing jobs is unfounded. The moment you start having AI and humans work together in your workspace, the ability to scale will start to broaden, essentially, and you start seeing more of an uptrend, especially because now the human receptionists have more time to focus on other tasks. They don't need to answer calls, update CRMs, and then see who needs following up with, and then on those other on-top stuff. And then say it also leaves margins for zero error, because what the AI receptionist does, the human receptionist as well. So it sees all the leads that come through here. It can check the need stage. It can check the priority. It can check the timeline as well. At that point, we start to see, wow. And then there's also this thing here, because we put it on Airtable, you'll be able to have a chat, right? So you'll see able to chat with it and ask it how many calls it mean has on the 15th of September. And then as it's thinking, and it's analyzing all the data from the database, we'll be able to then say here there were 4 calls today. So at the end of the day, we will to find calls to preserve sentiment, receptionist notes for bookings, because now every time there's a booking, we get receptionist routes. So that your receptionist also has this available for them to see, okay, and there was this need, they came in at this time, they requested this. Now, if they call again, then the AI receptionist has the ability to obviously transfer the call from it to the human. Now, at that point, whenever you get a call transferred to you, right, you then be able to get on the call, get on the CRM, and see what happened, the whole situation for how it is, because the AI receptionist basically just gave you everything you need, and then you can talk through it with the client face to, to a call, email call. And yeah, I believe that's the value that having this kind of system provides. It leaves zero margins for error. Well, there is still margins, but from where we were a couple months back to where we are now, it's so tiny. And so now that we've talked about it, let's talk about how you can build it yourself, right? So what you want to do is you want to go to Airtable, and then onto Airtable, honestly, just use Omni. Now, what do I mean by that? Let me just open the tab for you. So at this table, in the shoppable table, was the reverse some kind of data in there, there you go. Hard to spory. We'll be able to see the data, but let me just explain to you if this smells. Oh well, we for let you know. So we have 3 tables here. This is your database too. When a need gets called, it gets updated into the calls table. No matter what kind of call it is, whether it's a booking call, an info call, or conservation call. Okay, it goes into the calls table. Hence, it's called calls because every time the need calls, we record a call. Simple. And every time any books, we record the booking. Simple. And every time it's a need, you record the lead. This doesn't really get more complicated than that, honestly. And the way this works is, you'll be surprised how simple it is we have this M8N workflow right here, and this is about it. But obviously, I've really simplified this as much as possible for you because you can give this thing so much more functionality, but I felt that I would give myself a day to do this. Not even a day, like 3 hours at the most and best. 3 hours, and I want to see how far I can get. Okay. And this is how far I could get in 3 hours. Honestly, just sitting down and then just working for 3 hours. And then you'll be able to get started even faster. Just go to Omni, it's able Omni. And then if you just tap that at this point, you just it is done. So as you can see, I didn't make the prompting too complicated. It was just build a dashboard to monitor key AI performance metrics and provide insights for executive decision making. The dashboard will be an AI receptionist dashboard to show me the main KPIs. If I show the total number of calls, total number of bookings made to reach up support, they were. Then we also need a link company for us to see other needs that prompt. This is a very basic prompt, obviously more basic than the one I used to build this interface. But let me just show you, even with the basic prompt, you can still get some more really good for yourself. So at first, what it's going to do is it's going to build the entire database. And as you can see here, that it's currently just adding dummy data to the database as well, generating all of that data. And honestly, it really does look good. So hats off to Airtable for this, man. It literally gives you the opportunity to be able to create custom internal tools for your business in a matter of days. Obviously, it gets more complicated as you add more functionality. But honestly, as you can see here, in a matter of minutes, you will have a working dashboard that you can honestly start using. And then you also have a neat Kanban here for your human receptionist to see what's going on, what's happening with each need, so on and so forth. And then it's going to overheat. You'll see total calls handled by AI receptionist, total bookings via AI receptionist. See the calls by type, inquiry calls, booking calls, support calls, and other. And then obviously the needs by status. And you're going to be seeing here. Yeah, you get the gist of it. You get the gist of it. You can do this yourself in like a matter of minutes. Now, when we come to how I built it here, this is more bad. I just going over in my example. We come to the data, right? So the first table here we have is calls. Now, in my automation here, the workflow, what we had is we have a webhook. Now, we have this webhook, it collects the data from the call, from Retail AI, a voice receptionist platform or voice agent platform to create production rated voice agents. We get the voice agent data after the call. As you can see, we have a transcript, we have all that stuff, right? And then I have an F node. The purpose of this F node is we check the event, because how the webhook works is it gets transmitted several types of data throughout different stages of the call. So sometimes it transmits data while the call is still on. And then I don't know what it sends at that point, but point is when we want the data in the end after the call so that we can get all the information, so that's when I come here where it says call analyze, because at that point, I believe there were 3 events. I don't remember what the first event was named, but the second event was named call ended, and the third event was named call analyze. So this is the absolute last event. And then we just want to make sure that the event is equal to that call analyzed, so that we know that whatever goes through this F node is already died, it's processed. And then the other 2 events will just come false and they won't go anywhere until it says call analyzed, then it will move forward, right? And then we have this node right here. Now this node, simple enough, we use the prompt here, is it analyzes the transcript and it takes input the transcript and provides us with necessary data that we request. So this is the data that we fill in these fields, right? As we can see, I fill in the call type from scheduling, info, so on and so forth. Provide receptionist notes, next field, caller's name, so on and so forth, as you can see. And then provide it with, the transcript, but also the summary that agent itself has developed, as well as the phone number. And then what we get is we get all these information. So that's scheduling, which is call type. We get the receptionist notes, booking made, caller name, phone number, email, and then lead name, right? Now, what I've done is I've made the lead name. Sometimes the lead name will not be the caller name. If you're asking, why do you have 2 names? Because how I set it up is over here, you might have been the one to call, but you called on someone's behalf, and that someone could then be the lead, So that's just so that if you call and then you say, I'm calling on behalf of, so on and so forth, it will read the transcript, see, okay, it's calling on behalf of that. And so at that moment, we'll be able to see who the person is and document them. And then say, hi, this is Lainey from whatever clinic. And we have here that you called on behalf of, so on and so forth. And then we get today's current date here and we format it into a format that we want in a table. And then in this point, right here, what we just do is we create a record in the calls. So this is the point where we note, say a call happened to this to the system. Say, okay, a call happened, create the record, right? And then it creates all the records, adds everything there. At that point, we have another if node. Now, this if node is if the call record was scheduling, because the main functionality I had in mind while building this is I want to note how many calls we get in that are bookings. I want to see the bookings. Now, if you want to see everything else, we can, but what I personally like to see is bookings. Now, obviously, through the call record, we're still going to be able to note everything else that comes through. But at this point, we will decide if it is a scheduling, we'll be able to create a record in the leads table, so to note the lead, and then finally create the record in the bookings table. And that's really it. At that point, you want to have this lead management part. This Kanban here is done. This Kanban here is so for the lead table. So whenever you add something to the meat table, it will show up here, so on and so forth. So, now I just want to thank you for watching this video. If you want to see more or even just other systems that are built, please feel free to join my free school community. I'll put the link in the description below, and as well as the template to this and in workflow as well. And if you have any questions for me, please feel free to ask it in the school community. Also, if you want to work with my agency, be sure to book a call with my calendar below. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one.